welcome back to Weekday Wind Down with the Word, where we are reading through the book of Exodus. And today's reading will be coming from Exodus 13 in the NLT version. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first portion of this chapter will cover the dedication of the firstborn. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Dedicate to me every firstborn among the Israelites. The first offspring to be born of both humans and animals belongs to me." So Moses said to the people, "This is a day to remember forever, the day you left Egypt, the place of your slavery. Today the Lord has brought you out by the power of his mighty hand. Remember, eat no food containing yeast. On this day in early spring, in the month of Abib, you have been set free. You must celebrate this event in this month each year after the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, and Jebusites. He swore to your ancestors that he would give you this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. For 7 days the bread you eat must be made without yeast. Then on the seventh day, celebrate the feast to the Lord. Eat bread without yeast during those 7 days. In fact, there must be no yeast in bread or any yeast at all found within the borders of your land during this time. On the seventh day, you must explain to your children, I am celebrating what the Lord did for me when I left Egypt. This annual festival will be a visible sign to you, like a mark branded on your hand or forehead. Let it remind you always to recite this teaching of the Lord. With a strong hand, the Lord rescued you from Egypt. So observe the decree of this festival at the appointed time each year. This is what you must do when the Lord fulfills the promise he swore to you and your ancestors. When he gives you the land where the Canaanites now live, you must present all firstborn sons and firstborn male animals to the Lord, for they belong to him. A firstborn donkey may be bought back from the Lord by presenting a lamb or a young goat in its place. But if you do not buy it back, you must break its neck. However, you must buy back every firstborn son. And in the future, your child will ask you, what does this mean? Then you will tell them, with the power of his mighty hand, the Lord brought us out of Egypt, the place of our slavery. Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go, so the Lord killed all the firstborn males throughout the land of Egypt, both people and animal. That is why I now sacrifice all the firstborn males to the Lord, except that the firstborn sons are always bought back. This ceremony will be like a mark branded on your hand and your forehead. It is a reminder that the power of the Lord's mighty hand brought us out of Egypt. The next portion will cover Israel's wilderness detour. When Pharaoh finally let the people go, God did not lead them along the main road that runs through the Philistine territory, even though that was the shortest route to the promised land. God said, if the people are faced with a battle, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So God led them in a roundabout way through the wilderness toward the Red Sea. Thus the Israelites left Egypt like an army ready for battle. Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had made the sons of Israel swear to do this. He said, God will certainly come to help you. When he does, You must take my bones with you from this place. The Israelites left Succoth and camped in Edom on the edge of the wilderness. The Lord went ahead of them. He guided them through the day with a pillar of cloud, and he provided light at night with a pillar of fire. This allowed them to travel by day or night. And the Lord did not remove the pillar of cloud or the pillar of fire from its place in front of the people. And that concludes the reading of Exodus 13 in the NLT version. And I just would like to know if God is saying anything to your heart, if he placed anything on your heart while I was reading, or if you have noticed something this time in chapter 13 that you hadn't noticed before. Please put it in the comment section below so that we can glean from each other and learn and sharpen each other as we go through the book of Exodus. And so I think I'm going to read this over again because I want to really look at where God told them to tell the children, this is why we do this every year. This is why we have this celebration every year. And how they are to give the first son back to him. And just ask the Lord, what's the significance in that of the firstborn son back to him? And what's the significance of purchasing the first son back? Which is really what I'm curious about is, what's the significance of purchasing the first son back? And just see what he says about that, because I was really curious about that. I understand the firstborn, was killed in Egypt, and so that's where the firstborn come from. But why are they purchasing it back? I'm just trying to gather some information from that. And if you guys know, if it makes sense to you, and please put it in the comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Well, once again, I thank you so much for listening to Weekday Wind Down with the Word, and have a blessed day. Bye.